Well, it's one of the biggest rivalries of the HBL PSL, and tonight we saw Lahore Qalandars take down the Karachi Kings, unfortunately at their home ground. Nick Knight, you had the pleasure of calling this game from the commentary box. What did you make of it?
I thought it was a terrific game of cricket. I mean, you rightly say all the rivalry that's there, so that'll add nerves and pressure and expectation. I thought they bowled really well, the Qalandars. I mean, obviously Fakhar Zaman's going to get a lot of credit for the way he played and the 100 he scored, but I actually thought probably the game was won with the ball, because I thought Karachi Kings were under par. It wasn't that under, but I thought probably 180 plus was more a realistic target. Harris Rauf had a brilliant game as well, coming back from leaking those runs in the last over of the last game. So I thought it was a great game from the bowlers and finished off by the batters. But of course, Fakhar Zaman's innings, it's one of the better innings I've seen in this format of the game for sure.
And how cool, calm and collected was he? You almost didn't realise he'd gotten 100.
I know. I mean, when most of us get 100, we go so kind of mad and silly and do all sorts of funny things. He just went like that. Yeah, thank you very much. I think part of the reason was, again, you know, the expectation of the result. They need the points, and he still had work to do. And I like that about players. I like that about Fakhar Zaman, because it wasn't the personal performance. Yeah, sure, he was brimful of happiness, and it was a great performance. But he still knows those 2 points. And I thought actually when Hafiz got out, and I was calling it at the time, I thought the game was pretty much on a knife edge. For all I say there about them, you know, being a bit under par, Karachi, I thought the game was pretty even at that point. And Fakhar Zaman had to say, right, I've still got to finish the job, and he did it really well.
In terms of what the Karachi Kings can take out of this as a positive is, you know, they managed to scrap together a decent total, like you said, and it was without Babar Azam really making an impact for the third game in a row. So he really needs to get firing, you'd think, in order to give them a chance.
Yeah, I feel a bit for him and for Karachi actually, because he's such a good player. He's a touch player. He's not a belligerent player. He's not a muscly player who whacks him over the boundary edge. He's a touch player, he's a class player, he's a crafty player, and he's just a little short of his best touch. He's a little out of touch at the moment, and that's just affecting him a little bit. They're trying to work around it a bit. Shahzeel does what Shahzeel does, and they put in Nabi at 3 today, which was interesting, almost trying to cover that a little bit, but there's no way around it. He will find his best touch. I mean, he's a class player, one of the best players in the world. It's just affecting them a little bit at the moment. My overall assessment of them, Erin, is that I just feel they need to be a bit more fearless, a little bit more fearless all round, and I think they'll start to get back in winning ways.
And talking about winning ways, we just had a win for the new captain, Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's 1-0 now, so, you know, not a bad start to his campaign as a captain, I suppose. But how do you feel about bowlers as captains for one, and how do you think he's going?
We had that debate up there, actually. I think it was in the studio at the start. Sikandar said to me, he said, what about batters? It's got to be batters, isn't it? I mean, bowlers, really, honestly? But I mean, we're joking here. But I think he's done really well, actually. The most important thing for me when I watch him in the field as a captain, it hasn't affected his bowling. You know, he's a world-class bowler, one of the best bowlers in the world. What you don't want to see when you give someone the captaincy is that sort of burden, that expectation, and perhaps not quite performing as you'd like, because the best thing he can do, captaincy or not captaincy, is bowl like he's bowling. So I like that. That doesn't seem to have affected him. He's made some good decisions. He's got some senior players around him, and that's what he will hold on to at the moment. So all things looking pretty good. I mean, he fully perhaps should have won the first game as well, so at least he's got 2 points.
Well, fantastic from the Lahore Qalandars. They did down their arch nemesis, the Karachi Kings, tonight, and what a fantastic game it was.